Festive greetings to everyone. I welcome you to the November 2020 edition of Tax Gurukul, which is an initiative of the Tax Committee of the Bombay Chartered Accountants Society. The subject I've selected for this video is the new tax regime for the domestic corporate taxpayers vis-a-vis the existing tax rates in India for them for assessment year 2021. For the ease of clarity, I will be using the term financial year 1920. In this video, we will be going through the tax rates which are according to the old regime as well as the new tax regime for the domestic corporates, how the new tax regime will affect the companies having MAT credit of the earlier previous years, how will it be different when you adopt the tax rates according to the new regime while computing the provision of taxes, how difficult it is to cope up for so many tax rate options and compliances attached thereto, and how can we as professionals support the domestic companies who are our clients. Now the rates I will be mentioning will be for those domestic companies which are not exercising the option under the new tax regime announced by the Taxation Laws Amendment Ordinance 2019 announced in September 2019. The first schedule of the Finance Act prescribes that for those domestic companies whose turnover is less than 400 crores in financial year 17-18, while they compute their taxes for financial year 19-20, they can adopt less than 30% tax rate, that is exactly 25% tax rate, while computing their taxes. That will be added by surcharge of 7% in case their total income is more than 1 crore rupees, or 12% surcharge if their total income is more than 10 crore rupees. That will be further added by the education and higher education cess of 4%. That means that a domestic company whose turnover is more than rupees 400 crore in financial year 17-18 has to necessarily apply 30% tax rate. Let me draw your attention to section 115BA. This is for those domestic manufacturing companies which are set up and registered after 1st March 2016. They can adopt for 25% tax rate provided they satisfy the second condition mentioned in that section. And that says that these companies must be only engaged in the business of manufacturing of article or thing, or in research of these manufacture of article or thing, or in distribution of such article or thing manufactured or produced by it. There are few cautions one has to remember while applying for section 115BA. In case the domestic company has opted for tax rate of 25% plus surcharge plus the cess as applicable, it will not be able to claim any deductions which are investment allowances under section 32 of the Act, or any other deduction mentioned under section 35 of the Act. Once you have opted for this section, it is deemed to have presumed that the company cannot subsequently withdraw this option unless and until it is opting for the new tax regime under 115 BAA. In case a domestic company which was previously opting for 115 BA but now is going for the new tax regime which is 115 BAA, it would be assumed that that option is permanently withdrawn. In order to apply for section 115 BA, the domestic company will necessarily have to file form 10IB before the due date of filing of return, and necessarily before they file their return of income on the CPC website. The question lies, what happens to MAT? Should these companies go for MAT? The answer is yes. Whether the company is applicable to the first schedule of the Finance Act, that is 30% or 20% as the case may be, or opting for 115 BA, the provisions of section 115 JB minimum alternate tax shall prevail. whichever is the tax rate and the tax which is higher according to both the provisions shall prevail, and the tax shall be payable accordingly. The next question is whether MAT credit is allowed to be set off in the case where the company is liable to pay tax under section 115BA. The answer is a yes. The company opting for tax rate under 115BA can take relief under 115JAA and claim MAT credit if the tax payable under the normal provision of the Act and not MAT. Now, this is since section 115JB does not rule out companies mentioned under section 115BA. What I mean to say is, if you read section 115BA and 115JB simultaneously, there is no provision which mentions that those companies opting for this tax rate may not be able to take MAT credit or apply MAT. Hence, it is like a normal provision in any other case. Before we move on to the new tax regime, let us look at the provisions of MAT and the credit thereof. The company needs to prepare a computation as per the provisions mentioned under section 115JB while computing for minimum alternate tax, and refer to the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 and start with book profit. All the additions and subtractions which are allowances and disallowances will have to be necessarily made. I am now going to mention those companies which cannot take MAT. They should only apply the tax rate within the permissible provisions. The first one is those companies which exercise the option under the new section 115BAA or section 115BAB. Second is the companies offering income under the life insurance business under section 115B. Third, companies offering shipping income under the tonnage taxation under section 115V to 115VZC. The foreign companies who are resident of country with which India has entered into an agreement, which is the double tax avoidance agreement under section 90 and 90A of the Income Tax Act. And the last, those foreign companies being residents of countries with which India has not entered into any tax relief agreement, and this company is not required to seek any registration for the time being in force. And these perhaps could also be the foreign LLPs who are not liable for any registration in India per se. Now the reason is quite logical, because these companies are already offering low tax rate while computing the business income. For example, the life insurance companies have only to offer 12.5% of tax rate under 115B and so on. Now MAT was introduced since the companies prior to 1987 because they were paying nil tax due to the advantageous provisions under the normal provisions of the Act, like a lot of exemptions, deductions and allowances, and of course depreciation. Currently the MAT rate is 15% plus surcharge plus education cess, but for those companies who are in IFSC, the tax rate is 9%. IFSC means International Financial Services Center, and these are the companies who are deriving income from there. Before claiming the MAT tax rate, which in the computation would be higher compared to the normal provisions of tax, the company will necessarily have to obtain Form 29B from a practicing chartered accountant. This form has to be e-filed by the chartered accountant from the ARCA website and simultaneously be accepted by the corporate taxpayer, that is, the director of the company will have to accept the form. Of course, since it is more of a certificate in nature, a UDIN will have to be generated by the practicing chartered accountant. Now, what is the due date for Form 29B for MAT? A plain reading of 115JB and 44AB explanation 1 clarifies that the specified due date for this form is 1 month prior to the due date of 139(1). This is now amended for assessment year 2021 to say that Form 29B will be effective just before the due date of filing of return. That means you should upload Form 29B before you file the return of income. In case you do not file Form 29B and upload the return as it is, and it is under MAT provisions, you can and you will surely get a defective notice from the Centralized Processing Center. In that case, you will have to first e-file Form 29B, give the details of the certificate, the audit report so-called, in your ITR, but now this ITR which you upload will have to be called a revised ITR. A few MAT credit points. A company is entitled to claim MAT credit, which is the excess of MAT paid over the normal tax liability, and hence it's called a MAT credit. The set-off in respect of brought forward MAT credit shall be allowed in the subsequent years to the extent of the difference between the tax on the total income as per the normal provisions and as per the MAT provisions. The MAT credit can be only allowed to 15 assessment years, after which it shall lapse. Do note that no interest on the available balance MAT credit will be payable by Income Tax Act. The very interesting new regime which were announced by the Taxation Laws Amendment Ordinance 2019, September 19. Let us first understand why was this introduced last year. As per the August Bulletin of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which was published on 31st August 2019, 11.86 lakh companies which are active in India, as per the Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, during a budget speech mentioned that these companies which are incorporated in India, a whooping number of 99.3% of the companies having a turnover have less than 400 CR, which means these companies adopted the tax rate of 25%, which was mentioned in the first schedule, like I said before. Thus, it can be concluded judiciously that most of the domestic companies which are paying tax rate at 25% plus surcharge plus education cess, or even under 115BA of the Act. 1,45,000 crore were derived in financial year 17-18, and the government had collected 5.23 CR rupees from the corporate tax. This was just excluding buyback tax, dividend distribution tax, penalty, etc. Now, if the current tax maximum marginal rate is 34.94% and the new tax regime under 115BAA is 25.168, which is almost 25.17, the estimated gross revenue to the Indian government was 1.47 CR rupees. Hence, to curb this advantage to the domestic companies, deductions and exemptions are treated not to be allowed when you are going for the new tax regime. As per section 115BAA, the domestic companies will have an option to pay the tax rate at 22% plus applicable surcharge and cess. Mandatorily, these companies have to apply the 10% surcharge on the 22%. Now, so the health and education cess is not on the tax rate like the old regime, which was tax plus mandatory surcharge, but now there will be 110% compulsory tax rate plus 4% surcharge. The company can opt for regime at any point in time, but once it has opted for 115BAA, it cannot be subsequently withdrawn. To apply this tax rate, the company needs to file Form 10IC before filing the return of income. This form will be validated and deemed to have been signed by electronic verification code or digital signature of the director of the company who is eligible to file the return under 139(1). It is an online form on CPC website under the login ID of the domestic corporate taxpayer. One needs to mention the name, the PAN, registered address, date of incorporation, and nature of business of the company. Please note that nature of business of the company should be similar to that adopted in the tax audit report, the transfer pricing report, and the return of income. What the taxpayer must respond to is the nature of business, which I said should be similar to all the audit reports under the income tax and the return. In case the company has opted for the old regime under section 115BA, one needs to mention the date on which Form 10IB was first e-filed and in which assessment year was this section exercised. And the Form 10IC mentions that what was the date on which you are withdrawing from the option of 115BA and now undergoing for 115BAA. Basically, when you file Form 10IC while adopting the new tax regime, you will have to keep the history of section 115BA, which was first time adopted by the company, and details thereof. Some don'ts of 115BAA. The company will not be able to claim the benefit available for claiming specified deductions, exemptions, and incentives. No set-off of brought forward losses will be allowed which is due to the additional depreciation of the previous years. No additional depreciation cannot be claimed from the computation of income. No deduction under Chapter 6A will be allowed except for Section 80JJAA. Now 80JJAA is about the deduction to the new employment of the workmen, which is hired by the company during that financial year. Precisely because the tax rates are lower, no MAT liability can arise because you are not allowed to claim Section 115JB while you are opting for the new tax regime, which is 115BAA. Let us now look at the new Section 115BAP. It provides for the reduced rate of 15% tax rate to the new domestic manufacturing companies, but only if they are incorporated after 1st October 2019 but start manufacturing before 31st March 2023. This tax rate shall still prevail even though the turnover of the company has crossed 400 CR, unlike the first schedule of the Finance Act. The domestic company will have to file Form 10ID to claim this new tax regime before they file their ITR. To see the interplay of which section shall apply to a domestic company, the auditor who is providing for taxes or the domestic company who wants to know their advance taxes must ask these preliminary questions and narrow down their decision. The date of incorporation, type of company, turnover in financial year 17-18, availability of past MAT credit, a quantum of depreciation which would have been allowed under section 32(1)(2)(a). In case the company has higher quantum of MAT credit and additional depreciation to its kitty and the utilization would be more, the company should stick to the old tax rate. This is because mathematically speaking, if the taxable income in company is 10 lakhs or more, this will be charged to 2.5 tax under 115BA. But with additional depreciation of say rupees 2 lakh, the now taxable income would be 8 lakh and the tax payable will be 2.08 lakhs at 26%. Generally speaking, while adopting the tax rate, a lot of working papers will have to be kept by the side, specifically the details of the MAT tax credit available, the additional depreciation, and also what the business and how the business might be in the future years. I hope this presentation was clear with the basic tax rate as mentioned for the domestic corporate tax companies. Thank you very much.